Horrid Henry is known for his funny pranks that he pulls on his friends and family. However, a few of these pranks are way better than the rest, and today we'll be going over some of Horrid Henry's best pranks. Starting with the episode, Henry gets hired. This episode begins with Henry's parents arguing over who will take him and Peter to work. Henry mocks Peter, leading to a scolding from Mum. After accidentally smashing a tea set, Henry is forced to go to work with Dad while Peter joins Mum. Henry is immediately annoyed, especially when he realizes his dad company sells toothbrushes and toothpaste. At the office, Henry meets Bossy Bill, Bob's son, who immediately starts ordering him around. Bill tricks Henry into making tea with mustard and ketchup, leading to chaos when the staff drinks it. When blamed, Henry tries to defend himself, but Bob sides with Bill. Next, they are sent to the toothpaste department, where Bill speeds up the machine, causing a disaster. Henry retaliates by squeezing multiple tubes of toothpaste onto Bill, and once again, Henry takes the blame for it. Bob calls a serious meeting with Henry, Dad, and Bill, who wipes his face clean for the toothpaste incident. Bill takes the opportunity to badmouth Henry, telling Bob that he's nothing but trouble and not the kind of person he would employ when he takes over the company. Bob responds by reminding Bill that not all children have his quality upbringing. However, he still decides to give Henry one last chance, instructing Bill to take some documents with Henry to photocopy. As they head to the copier, Henry tells the audience that Bill needs to get in trouble, but he isn't sure how yet. Then he comes up with a plan.
This snotty, snivelling snot needs to be caught doing something really bad. But what? Eureka! That's it! Hey, Bill!
Henry suggests to Bill that they should do something horrid on the photocopier and then hang the pictures all over the office. Bill, intrigued by the idea, eagerly agrees. He insists on going first, and while Henry initially refuses, he quickly changes his mind, knowing his plan is about to work perfectly. As Bill gets ready, Henry discreetly adjusts the CCTV camera using a broom, positioning it towards Bill and the photocopier. Bill then drops his pants and sits on the copier, completely unaware that his stunt is being broadcasted to the entire office, including his dad. The staff erupts into laughter, and Bob's face turns red with shock when he sees the screen. Bob and Henry's dad storm into the room. Bob's furious, demands to know what Bill is doing, and Bill immediately tries to shift the blame onto Henry, but Henry calmly reminds Bob that he told him not to do it. He just wouldn't listen. It's the same excuse Bill had used against Henry earlier, and this time, Bob isn't fooled. Enraged and humiliated, he punishes Bill for embarrassing him in front of the entire company and sends him home, promising to deal with him later. As a reward for exposing the real troublemaker in the office, Bob allows Henry to amuse himself by playing video games for the rest of the day, making up for being harsh on him earlier. As Dad and Bob discuss how boys will be boys regardless of their upbringing, Henry jokes to the audience that he should ask his parents if he can leave school early more often, but it's an excitement, he actually knocks his dad to the floor, laughing as the episode ends. This prank is downright amazing. Not only did Henry set up the prank perfectly, he made sure the entire office saw it in real time. If he would have got blamed for it instead of Bill, his dad could have got in trouble with his job. But luckily, Henry's a master and knew what he was doing. And the same thing happens in Horrid Henry's new science teacher. But before I talk about this amazing prank that he pulled, remember that if you subscribe, you can join the Purple Hand Gang and be a true OG, because this is only my second video. But let's get back into it. The episode starts with Mum dropping Henry and Peter off at school. Henry sees Ralph and Margaret playing football and decides to join them. Henry tries to get the ball, but he trips over Susan's school bag and lands in front of a man. The weird man introduces himself as the new teacher, Mr. Nerdon, who tells everyone that he'll be taking over for Miss Battleaxe until she recovers from her flu. He warns Henry that he has a list of punishments especially for him. Henry's classmates hate Mr. Nerdon and decide that he has to go. Henry decides to come up with a plan, but he needs help from the rest of his classmates to get rid of the new teacher. In class, Mr. Nerdon critiques Susan and Brian's poem harshly, assigning them extra writing as punishment. When Henry shoots gum at him, Mr. Nerdon catches it and forces Henry to read his own poem, which disgusts him. As other students chime in with their own vomit-related stories, Mr. Nerdon furiously gives them all attention.
Obviously, you still have bathing, upchucking, gagging, retching, and regurgitating to go. Now sit down. I threw up in a boat once.
I threw up in the car.
I threw up on my teddy.
Silence! You will all stay for detention after school is finished.
Oh.
Next, during music class, chaos erupts when students play their instruments all at once. Henry escalates things once again by blowing dirt to Mr. Neurot's face from his tuba, getting himself in trouble once again. Later in class, Mr. Neurot sends Henry next to Margaret after being told he got triple detention from Miss Oddbod. Next, Henry and Margaret pretend that Henry was pulling his hair, causing Mr. Neurot to sit next to William. Henry and William start pretending that Henry was hitting him. This causes him to be sat next to Linda. Henry and Linda pretend that Henry's stealing her book. Henry then gets sat next to Brian. Henry and Brian pretend that Henry was stealing his pencil. Mr. Duron decides to sit next to Bert. Bert, however, doesn't know what he's pretending to do and pushes Henry off his seat. But Mr. Duron pretends he didn't see nothing, and the last lesson before lunch is science, so Henry knows he has to do something quick. Mr. Neron brings out a test tube with water that was dyed with red food coloring, which makes William cry. He then adds something in it to make it normal again, much to the class's shock. Henry distracts Mr. Neron while Ralph pours the dungeon drink liquid in the tube, causing it to overfill. This causes his phone to come out, and Henry then pretends to choke. Ralph then whispers to Margaret, Soria, Bert, and Al to do the same, which they did, and the remaining students decide to copy it. Perfect Peter comes in with a package. Henry blows up a paper bag and pops it, causing the package to burst open. As Mr. Durdon isn't paying attention, the students hide behind their desks. As frogs leap all over the classroom, the only conclusion is that all of the students turn to frogs from this experiment. This horrifies Mr. Durdon, causing him to run out of the school to Miss Oddball's surprise. And once Miss Oddball comes in, the students act as if nothing has happened. The episode ends with Henry and his classmates celebrating their victory as Miss Nerdon flees in terror. This prank was undeniably clever. Henry knew he had to get the teacher away, and he did so in the only way he knew how without hurting him, and only giving him a slight scare. And if you thought this prank was good, the next one gets even better. As the episode begins, Horrid Henry is preparing for Halloween, gathering all of his essentials for a night of trick-or-treating, making an awesome costume. Horrid Henry is super excited until he finds out that he has to take Peter along with him. Dressed in a fluffy pink bunny suit, Henry is horrified, convinced that going out with Peter will instantly ruin his reputation. Determined to fix the problem, Henry drags Peter into the bathroom, claiming he's going to improve his image. Without hesitation, he grabs an electric razor and starts shaving Peter's head. Once he's done, he happily shows Peter his reflection in the mirror. The second Peter sees himself, he lets out a blood-curdling scream.
Your eyes now! Ah! It looks horrible! Yeah, great, isn't it?
Henry's mom rushes in, alarmed by Peter's screaming, and when she sees what Henry has done, she's completely shocked and furious. Mom immediately scolds him, letting him know that he's banned from going trick-or-treating for the night. Henry's devastated. His favorite night of the year is ruined just because he didn't want to go trick-or-treating with his brother and tried making a fix. Henry tries convincing his parents that Peter doesn't even look that bad and that they should let him go trick-or-treating, but it doesn't work. But Henry knows if he wants to enjoy his night, he has to sneak out of the house, and that's exactly what he does. As Henry's mom leaves him and his dad behind in the house, with Henry locked in his room, he runs outside without Dad seeing him. As he does this, he goes around his entire neighborhood, pranking all of his friends, frightening them all, giving them a true Halloween experience. This prank is great because he hurts his bratty little brother and still gets to have fun outside of the house. And that's not it, he also gives everybody a time to remember for this Halloween.